SherineClarke.com. Oh, you're recording this? Okay. All right.
Yes, I forgot to start it at the beginning,
Okay.
but we do record these sessions and then we publish them on YouTube.
Sherine, can you just pop that URL into the chat so that we can open up
Into
the
the
site on our
chat? Sure.
Yeah.
I just highlighted there, saw it there, but I will put it in the chat, no problem.
When you put it in chat, then all we have to do is just click on it in the chat, in the message, and then it opens up in the nearest browser automatically.
I think something's wrong with my HTTP. And maybe you can explain. Here we go.
Have you haven't put it in the chat message?
I'm doing it right now. There you go.
Okay, there we are.
I had started to type it, but
Okay. Yeah, okay, Sherine, so did anything change with your site just before this, before you started seeing this error message?
no, nothing. Nothing. I was in another meetup, but they didn't fix it. They weren't a hacking. They were just there to share information, and they told me that it could possibly be the theme. Now, what I did was the mistake I made was I actually hired somebody from India. At least this is about a 7-year-old site, and I just never touched it ever since. I do have Thrive themes, which is I'm going to redo the whole site on Thrive themes, but I would like to just be able to do a copy and paste. I can't find anything now, or I just want to have something up while I work on it on the back end, but nothing
Right.
is coming up. Now, when I do go to the back end, oops, when I go to the back end and I try and find it, I can't find anything. Like I can't find any information. If I go to edit, this is what happens.
I had one of those fatal errors that Host Papa helped me with, but they said it was a theme that I had, that the latest version of WordPress wasn't handling, or whatever words they used, and they deleted it for me, and my website came back up properly.
So it deleted the theme? That's what
They
you did?
deleted the theme that was.
That's what they're saying is the problem. It must be the theme is outdated, and which
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
surprised. I absolutely think that could be the problem. The only thing is I'd like to do whatever I need to do in order to and it's pointless. They said, well, you can pay for it and then get the updates, but it's pointless. I'm paying for it because I already pay for Thrive themes and I'm going to be redoing it anyway. I would just like to get it back while I work on it.
Yeah, it was a theme I wasn't using, so they deleted it.
Drew,
Yeah,
do you think this is worth considering reinstalling from a backup?
Well, what I would suggest doing immediately is switching the site to the WordPress default theme. It's eliminate possible causes one at a time. See if it is the theme. A problem with the theme is certainly a possibility. So we should try changing to the WordPress default theme and see if anything comes up.
You know what? Now that you say that, thank you so much, Drew. But Robin, now that you say that, I actually did. Let me highlight my cursor so you can see this. I don't. Where is it now? There we go. Where is the annotations?
Somebody wrote something here that it's the Enfold WordPress
Yes.
theme that's causing the problem.
It's Enfold, yeah. So I can't find my right there. I uploaded. This is Thrive theme. This is their product manager and Thrive dashboard. This is the so that's one thing I did do that maybe could be causing it. But if the Enfold is outdated, should I click on this?
What I would suggest, if it's outdated,
Even when I click on all options, it doesn't do anything.
yeah, do you currently, do you have an active license for Enfold?
Probably not, because as I said, it was the designer in India who used this theme. So
Sherine, I'm not quite clear. Is your goal to simply, if possible, to revert back to whatever was the state of the site just before something happened that
Yes.
caused the critical error, and
Exactly.
then in due course change over to Thrive, or
Yes.
what?
Exactly. That is exactly it. Just
Okay.
bring back whatever was there until
So
I
what,
get
who's your host?
SiteGround.
SiteGround. And are you on the basic plan or one of the other ones?
No, it's what is it called? It's Geek something another.
Okay, so you've got the top sort of level of the plans, and so therefore you should have a number of backups from which you can choose to restore the site.
I do.
And
Right.
so if you could just figure out what date the backup would be that immediately preceded this error occurring, right? And then restore your site from that backup. If it does not produce the critical error, then continue with the backed up version you've restored. But bear in mind that doing so makes it probably a good idea not to do anything of any consequence with that theme, because you don't know what caused the error, and therefore you don't want to get back into the situation. So what you got is a limited life on the old theme because you're not updating the site regularly, and therefore you want to get on to Thrive as soon as practical.
Mhm.
So in other words, you can revert back, but you're in a state which is not recommended. I mean, based on the versions of things that you would have running.
Mhm.
But if it's a means to get you to Thrive, then why not, sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I understand that you want me to bring it back. The only thing is that I don't know when it happened, to tell you the truth.
Well, do you remember the last time you did anything of consequence? Like, was it several weeks ago or several months ago?
Months ago, had to be months ago. To tell you the truth.
So go back a month and try the restore. Now,
Well, I have this one
let me
here.
just think for a second. Drew, do you know off the top of your head whether those Insta WP or its competitors would let her import a backup that she has on SiteGround just to see if it works and not bother the current site? We could do it, importing it to the local app on a local dev environment, but that's not worth doing just for this one thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure on SiteGround whether you can do that with whether you can send a backup to a staging site.
Actually, now you mentioned that, I do recall that they have a one-click staging option, certainly in the Geek plan.
Yeah, but I don't know whether you can generate the staging site from a backup like you can.
No, but
with
what I'm
something
saying
like
though is that
Bloodbolt.
why not create a staging site version, which is in effect just a copy of the site as it now stands, but it's under a separate URL that you can then, when you're finished using that version of the site, the copy, right? Then you just delete it or say,
Robin?
Delete the staging site.
Now that
And
you
so what we're
mention-
talking about is on SiteGround, the staging process creates a copy of your site on a separate domain that SiteGround generates. You then revert back to the backup that you choose, whichever date makes sense, see what condition the stage site looks. If it looks like it's working and no problem, then you go back to the main site, the real site, and do the same thing, right? So in other words, all we're doing is making a copy of the site, experimenting on the copy. If the copy blows up or the copy works, whatever the result is, it's just information you're looking for. And then when you're done that exercise, you get rid of the staging site by simply clicking the button to remove it.
You know what, Robin, now that you started talking about staging, I think I tried doing some staging business before. I looked into it. I don't know if I did anything with it. Something is telling me that I must have done something.
Well, it's
But
on SiteGround, it's a fairly simple description of what staging is, and then you only get the button that says, create staging site. So in 15 minutes, you'll know whether or not this process makes sense or not. I mean, to create the staging site and then import a backup and see what the result is, maybe most half an hour.
Just wondering where I could find it. Staging, here we go. Did I create one? Yes.
Right, but that was in 21, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't recall how many staging sites you're allowed.
I only had the one, so I obviously did it. If I click on this, will it get to it? Will it get to the site?
Should. Does that look familiar?
Yes. But that's only one part of it. It's only one.
Right, but I mean, it should be. Remember that staging is making a copy of the site, so I wouldn't bother even looking at the 21 version. Start with today's version.
I don't think there was anything. It just said my new SC site.
Right, but in the far right there, you see actions. Why don't you click on that and let's see what the choices are.
Oh, full deploy?
Well, yeah. When you created it, I guess you had these options. Yeah, I mean, a full deploy sounds like the right choice, i.e. make a full copy. And they give you options, to make less than a full copy for one reason or another.
I don't know what I did. So now that this one has this day, I have this staging copy. If I'm saying full deploy, am I asking that to bring it up?
I think that, I mean, I would read the article first on staging, but
Okay.
Why not click it and find out?
Yeah, something's
I mean,
telling me.
there's nothing here you can hurt.
Oh, okay. I can't hurt anything. Okay.
Not when you're dealing with actions on the staging site.
Oh, we'll replace. Okay, but deploying this staging will replace your live site with the staging copy. No.
No, we don't want that.
No, we don't want
Oh,
that.
right. So full deploy means fully deploy the staging
Right.
site to the production site. Well,
Replicate.
good thing we checked, right?
Yeah. Replicate.
Replicate would mean make another copy of the staging site, which doesn't do anything for us.
Doesn't do anything good. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the pop-up. The pop-up comes up.
Now, it may be also that the staging site is slower in performance for one reason or another, but that's not, it's really the content of the site that you care about. And in particular, does the bringing the staging site up to date, does it result in that critical error? But here we're not going to know unless this copy of the site is the same as a copy that you made today. You're not going to gain anything by looking at something that's 2 years old. Right?
I just feel like I should just cut my losses and work on the new site.
Well, nothing that we're telling you now has any material risk.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff to know that, that's,
Yeah.
so to speak, in your toolbox. But if you can go directly to Thrive, then that just saves you all this bother.
Right. How did I get back to? Okay, I'm right back to.
It would be interesting though to switch your site to a default WordPress theme, and at least you'll see that all of your material is still there.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that because.
Sure.
So how do I do that now?
So we're going into appearance, themes, yeah. And probably the latest one, 20. Maybe that.
Maybe 2022 rather than 2023 because 23 has all those variations built in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Which one?
So it's a bit of a different sort of approach to themes that 2022 doesn't have. But 2022 will still test the things you're looking for.
Okay, so do what? Going to.
Okay, do you have any of the default themes? I don't see any.
I saw one just scrolling down.
Is this not one?
No, keep scrolling down.
Okay.
Just by the by, having as many themes on your site as you do have means you're going to be getting a lot of messages about those themes.
Yeah. I
So
think
really,
that's-
this is not the place to catalog themes you might be interested in the future. You
This-
shouldn't really, it's not
I
really a
didn't
good
do any
idea to
of
do it in
this.
your site.
I didn't do any of this. I think it's the web developer that did this.
Right, so I would delete all of those that you're not planning on using, like Thrive Builder, for example.
Okay. Wait here.
There's-
Here. You can even try 2022, but you need to update it first. Quick way says updates.
This one, 2022,
2022, yeah. Oh, it's
There, just to the right.
2023,
go-
this one here.
okay. Yeah, you can even
No,
go
beside
Just
it.
up
No, go
above.
beside it. We
Oh,
want
that's
2022.
2020. Ah, right here. Oh, it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
go in
right
order. It
beside
goes
it.
2021, 2023, 2022. Okay. All right. This one here. Let me just update it.
yeah, click update. And
Okay,
then
and then
activate.
Activate. All right.
Okay, now go to your website, like go to the main.
I had it here somewhere.
Yeah, you can, refresh this page.
Oh, this is such a pain. Sorry, the well, at least the stuff is there.
Yeah, so here you can see that you have your stuff. I think the problem,
Oh, you know
we said
what?
earlier, is the
That's
theme that
where's
has
the
a problem.
bio?
Yeah.
The
right
bio's
there.
there. Yeah, the bio's. Oh, it's all crap. Okay, there we go.
Well,
Okay.
it's not too bad. What's happened here is that there are some plugins that are inactive. Some of it may have, some of these codes may be things that were related to
To the
that-
theme, yeah.
to the theme or to a plugin that's either been disabled or removed.
Mm.
Yeah, because the guy was using, there's a bunch of short codes in their
Yeah.
theme. Mhm.
It's generally, Sherine, a good idea in a circumstance like this to go through the plugins and turn off any that you don't know what exactly it is they're doing, that you're not familiar with their what they contribute, so that you can see this test theme
Mhm.
without any potential interference from things that are specific. This is what Drew's been saying, that are specific to the Enfold theme.
Mhm.
So we should not have all those themes hanging around.
Yeah,
Well, it just
the
simply
theme
generates
like,
more notifications to you.
Right, and I keep getting them, and I didn't know what they were all about. Right.
Right, and
So-
they're simply that if you've got 20 themes in your appearance section, well, then
Mhm.
you got
Right.
20 updates
Oh,
to
gee.
deal with on whatever sort of random series that
Yeah.
comes from a given developer.
Yeah,
Right.
and I know I bought this one, Odyssey, before I knew what I was doing. I bought this one. It was cheap and the developer was selling, but everything else, I don't know why they're there.
Right, but anything that you got here, that unless it's been paid for and you've lost the license, if it's licensed, you can delete it and then reinstall it anytime you like with your license key. If
Mhm.
it's a free theme, then you can download it and install and activate it anytime you like. So don't store them here.
Right. As I said, I didn't do it. So how do
No,
I
I'm
get
just
rid
saying,
of
but
these?
you are storing them here. That you didn't put them there is not the point. The point is
Right.
you're maintaining this catalog
Right. How
of
do I?
somebody else's
Well,
ideas
at this
on
point,
themes.
Sherine, what I would do is activate the Thrive theme builder,
Mhm.
and that can be your new theme.
Oh, right. Just do that.
Yeah. So you want to go to the product manager. Yeah.
Oh, product
Yeah.
manager.
So Drew, does Thrive have startup templates?
Yes, they do. Not a lot. They have a few theme templates, but they have a lot of page part templates.
Right,
Okay.
and so here, for example, with the builder, is that like a blank theme that you then download and activate a starter template?
Yeah,
or
the
something like that?
builder is sort of the equivalent of Beaver Thema,
Well, what's that one from Elementary? Hello?
yeah. No, not it's a theme and a theme builder.
Activate this one.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
activate it and try to.
Success.
Okay.
So do I go
Well,
to
let's
the,
find out what it activated. Let's see your
Well,
front
let's have a
page.
look at the front end of your site now.
all
Yeah.
right. Oh, then that's pretty decent compared to,
Yeah.
how do you get
No,
rid of all
there's
this crap?
some crud that you need to get rid of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
You're
that'll
just
be,
going to
Something's-
have to delete it.
yeah.
So
you
I
just
have
go
to,
into the page editor and delete all the
oh, okay.
codes.
Go into page editor and do
Well,
that.
I mean, I would check just to see whether or not there are that you don't delete something that you expect to work, and therefore we'll have to generate this
Well,
again and then figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If these were generated by the theme, Thrive will have all of its own ways of doing this kind of stuff. So I suspect that Thrive has got so much stuff in it that
Mhm.
I suspect that you won't need most of the plugins that you've got installed.
Right, right. And how do I know that this sounds really stupid to you guys.
I have a suggestion. Maybe you should download local by WP engine, and then maybe try to build your website locally, and then after you can you can copy your content, your post, and then maybe that's when at least you know what you're doing, and so you don't have to lose your because right now you're editing a live site, right?
Right, that's what I was trying to do with the staging, right? Was to, and you can see how long ago that was, right? That I haven't even looked at the site.
Are you familiar with this concept of local development?
Yes, go on Google. It's only takes
Just a minute. I'm
to
just
do,
asking a
yeah.
question.
Yeah,
Sherine, are you
I've heard
familiar with
something like
what
that.
this
Yeah,
local app is?
like you
Yes, I
actually do,
have.
you're
I
actually,
have it. It's owned by WordPress
Flavian, would you
engine.
be quiet, please, so that I can ask a question of
Okay.
Sherine?
Okay,
Sherine, are you
okay.
familiar with the local?
I think so. It's where I'm actually doing it on my computer, right?
Right.
And they can't see it, right?
Right. Well, you can provide access to it if you wish,
Mhm.
but you don't have to.
Okay. Is there any way I could kind of take the site, make the site or put up I guess I just put up a page, a coming soon page and leave that up while I work on it?
Yes,
Yes.
in fact, in the Thrive Builder, Drew, would you agree with this? There's probably something specifically
is.
for, coming
Yeah.
soon or maintenance or whatever. That's a pretty standard sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure
Um,
there is. I'm not exactly sure where to find it though.
Alternatively, Sherine, I mean, you could, even if you're not very familiar with Thrive, the page building exercise should be simple enough that you can compose your own page coming soon, like which has 2 or 3 or 4 elements at most, right? And then there is a setting in WordPress that says, make my home page a static page or make my home page the blog archive page. And so whatever you call this coming soon page or whatever, that's what you want to make your static front page. And once
Right.
you know of that setting and go and find it, then whatever you produced in the editor for coming soon as a page will be what's displayed, and it'll have no
Right.
links on it.
Right.
And so therefore there's nowhere to go from it. Mind you, people often put contact forms on a coming soon, not often, but some people put a contact form so that if somebody wants to reach you during this period, they can.
Right. Right.
Actually, going the local route as opposed to staging has some distinct benefits. What you will find is that the local app is a very simple installation, and the basic way it works is quite straightforward. And it's Flywheel that is the developer or site from which you get the local app, and I think it's getflywheel.com.
Then it's not the
Sherine,
thing I'm thinking of.
I
Sorry.
just
Okay.
posted a link in the chat for the help article from Thrive Themes on how to activate their coming soon page.
Awesome. Should I stop sharing? You guys don't need to look at this.
And they have a video that describes it as well.
Thank you so much, Drew. So wonderful. I knew you guys would just be amazing. So thank you very much.
There is a price for this. There is a price. And
What's
that
the
is
price?
a kind of mini little testimonial, 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, whatever you can do on the comments part of the event page for today, where you signed up, and just say, you know, if you're a new or experienced or not, but I mean, just, you know, in 1 sentence, like, I came to this event, I had a couple problems to solve, you know, did it turn out well? I ask simply because it's so encouraging for people who are uncertain about whether attending an event like this would be productive, that you are a better person to tell them yes than I am.
Absolutely. I did that the last time, and I will be more than happy to do it again. So
Excellent. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
It was helpful, and it was helpful to watch what the problem Sherine had and how she fixed it.
Oh, good.
Well, I think
Because
watching over
basically
someone's
the
shoulder
problem I had
in a manner of speaking is the way we learn at least half of what we end up knowing, is by watching and following and observing others. And part of the thing that's valuable, I think, is learning the way people think about the problem. In a certain sort of sense, what are the diagnostic steps that people go to? How do they deal with the issues of risk, for example, and the fear of doing something that'll blow up in your face? I mean, those are the things that are important to us in the early stages of mastering something. And then you reach at some point a level where you know enough about the lay of the land that you're not concerned about getting lost. You will get lost, but you have wayfinding means to get back onto the path you were trying to stay on. All right, so let's help somebody else who would like some assistance. This question of the PHP version, I stand corrected. I thought that the core WordPress was recommending one of the PHP 8 versions. And now I recall that they're just discussing whether to mandate 8.0 or 8.1 as opposed to simply support it. And so someone here said something like 7.4.33 is fine. So in other words, there's a version of 7.
Okay.
That
So I have,
WP beginner article.
That was me, Robin.
Sorry, who's speaking?
Bruce, sorry.
Yeah.
I shut off my video there for a moment. But yeah, that was me. I haven't had anything, complain to me about the version that I'm running. But, if somebody here in your greater wisdom said, upgrade, but I'm of the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it school.
Right.
So.
Bruce,
So
do you know
what
where
version are you
the
at?
site health section of your site is?
I get at it through the dashboard on SiteGround. And
right, but the reason I bring that up is that that is the place to go and check your PHP version. If
it's
you
under the
have a
dev tab,
version which WordPress is recommending that you update, that's where one place where it'll say it very clearly and straightforwardly. It'll say you're running version X, you should be running at least version Y. And that's one of the jobs of that site health section to tell you. And so if in fact you're on a version of PHP that isn't recommended, or as they say, deprecated, you'll get a message right at the top of the site health section that says you have a critical something or other issue to resolve. And then that issue will be listed next. Then you would click on that and you get deeper into the... Anybody have anything further to add to that? Okay. Who would like to be next? How about Peter? Is Peter there? Peter Dervenis? Are you there, Peter?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't have any specific problem. I'm just observing what everyone else is doing.
Cool. please continue then. If you do change your mind, just speak up anytime you like.
Sure, thanks.
How about, how do I pronounce it? Naha?
Neha, hi.
Can we give you some help today?
Hi, yeah, so actually, I'm new to WordPress. I barely have any knowledge about WordPress. So I'm just going to share my screen to show you like what issue I'm encountering. So this is my company's website actually. So I have been assigned this thing, right? Like these logos are not coming correct actually. And
Could
if
you put the link to your site in the chat window?
Yeah, sure.
And then Drew will jump on it and tell us.
The name of the site is like that. So it's basically a healthcare cosmetic beauty products company. So
Well, that's certainly a name that people will remember.
yeah, actually, I will say that. Everyone will remember.
Just by coincidence, one of the sites that I use regularly is called Dirty Markup.
Ooh.
And what it does is
Kind
it
of
will
similar.
take a page of, say a WordPress page or from some other content management system, and then you put it into Dirty Markup, hit clean, and it just reformats it to what you're used to seeing in a normal HTML page, not the minified or compressed or the entire page on one line, which makes the line about 100 yards long. So think dirty, great.
Yeah. Now, Neha, I'm looking at your site, and it looks absolutely fine to me. I'm seeing something different from what you're seeing.
Yes, actually, how it comes, like I can show you how, like if I do this, like if I refresh the page or anything, so it will not show up. And as soon as I just like do Control+Shift+R, like as a caching thingy, remove the cache, it will show up sometimes, and sometimes it disappears. But it is still there. If I look in the theme files, it doesn't go anywhere, but sometimes it shows up like that. So I have no idea how to fix this thing.
Drew, what do you get on the first display of the page? Do you see that drop down that list? Because I don't. But when I hover over it, it appears.
Okay. I see what's showing now, scrolling.
Okay, but it's a little higher than that, though.
Yeah, right off the top, I see a logo and a menu, and then a hero image and call to action, and lots of other product images and things like that on the page. I mean, it looks like a perfectly normal e-commerce site to me.
But Drew, without switching to my screen, there should be a column to the left of the shop column, and that's where the list in question comes from. And you're not getting anything.
Column to the, so
here, let me just switch, stop sharing for a second, and I'll switch to mine, and then we can switch back to you. Okay.
Yeah, I just stopped.
You see it over here, Drew?
Oh, I see the, okay. Now,
no hover, hover. But also, look at this. Oh, no, that's the chat window. I thought actually this stuff was on the site. I couldn't find it. Now, what does this do?
Oh, it's like kind of, if you click on it, it just pops up like about the donation and stuff like that.
Wow, that's not very intuitive.
Yeah.
And it's not closing.
It's not me.
Okay.
So I'm seeing something very different, Robin, from what you're seeing.
Okay, let me drop off and
on the for the column of items in the footer, column of menu items, I'm seeing shop, gift cards, press, accolades, partnerships, etc. But that's the leftmost column for me. I don't see.
Right, so you're missing there's actually 3 columns, and you're missing number 1, which consists of a title, the list. Well, actually, not a list. It's just a link that pops open when you hover, and then there's the Google Play icon, badge rather, below that. So What is our theme here?
So we have like they have their own custom theme. So it has been built by a developer. She left like a year ago. So they have their own, they designed it like in PHP.
Right.
So yeah, so what's happening, like earlier, the thing that you are the logo stuff that you were seeing, like they used to show up in desktop mode, like they used to show up in a proper section. But now, like whenever I push updates or anything, like it just disappears.
Right, which is the situation with Drew. And in my case, is the behavior supposed to be that this download in the App Store is displayed, just displayed, or is it displayed when you hover?
Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you please
When I'm
repeat
looking
again?
at it,
Yes.
there's the words download on the App Store don't appear. When I mouse over, or I hover over it, then it appears. Is that the
Yes.
behavior that's expected?
No, basically there is a logo image of like the App Store version, which is not showing up right there. So basically those are badge images, like logo badge images.
Oh, right. So
And
this
I
is
think,
the alt text for the badge.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Cool. Okay, so maybe it's just a question of find the image that's missing. And I mean, is the image in your media library?
Yes, it's live. I think we are
And you
using
check the link and it's the right link,
yeah, yes,
but it's still not displaying.
yeah, and yeah, for some reason it just doesn't.
Now for this other link, the one that has the Google Play one, is there any difference between eyeballing the code between the link for the Apple Store and the link for the Google Store other than the URL itself?
No, there's nothing. Like we are just uploading the image on the WordPress and we are just calling that image down there.
Right.
It's like the same
But
code.
is there,
Nothing
with
is
this theme, is there like a place where this is set, or is this sort of a page building exercise in which you have to find the footer and then go into the footer and look for the columns, and then within the columns look for the header and then the image? It's the latter?
Yeah, it's in the themes. Yeah, it's in the themes. Yeah.
Okay, can you bring
Like,
up the page where this
yeah,
comes? And we'll have a quick
yeah,
look.
sure. Just give me a second.
I'm
gonna
seeing
pull
some
it up.
interesting behavior on this. When I am running full screen, I see the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store things in the very top bar in a sticky header at the top of the website. But when I reduce to a mobile size, that stuff goes down to right down to the footer, and I only see the Google Play Store. I don't see the Apple App Store.
Interesting, Drew, that the App Store badge in the header for this page says, obviously says, well, the image is found and it displays properly. So it's not a problem with the image or the link to the image, right? And so that's what makes the problem that we're looking at sort of strange, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's all we're trying to do is get that badge, same badge, in the second location. So is that correct? Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, and I suspect that this positioning might be done in CSS.
Yeah,
that would be
so
my
here
guess.
is the PHP right here. Like here we have the App Store one.
Wait a second.
So,
You're editing the theme, you realize, right?
yes, I know. Yeah.
Are you?
I made a backup.
Are you a
I made a backup.
PHP or CSS coder?
I'm not, like, I just know a little bit, to be honest. Like, I'm not that much
Well, I
advanced
mean,
in
generally
this.
speaking, Drew could give me your opinion, but I mean, generally speaking, it's like playing with a real sharp knife with blindfold on, because if you screw something up here, you blow the theme away.
There's another
So generally
problem.
speaking, it's not recommended to edit the theme directly.
Oh yeah,
There's
I'm not gonna
also
save the file, but yeah.
Yeah, there's also another problem is any changes that you made here will be eliminated as soon as
Right,
you
the next update.
update the next time you do a theme version update.
Do we not have a
So,
page builder sort of, or a page editor view of this
so
footer?
no, actually this is a staging website, so I can like do it.
Right,
But yeah,
but I'm just thinking that, I
here,
mean, you've got a code view here. Is there not a UI, an editor UI where you can see the page, or at least the footer, blocked out, or the layout of it rather than the code?
no, I think the only thing I can see on this page is like the only files I have like for this is a footer that I know about. The footer.php. Yeah, that's the only way I could like, I just found this through inspect code and stuff.
Could we try
So
clicking in the under the appearance list there, customize,
customize, yeah.
and just look if there's a footer element
Mm,
there? Usually there'd be something that says header and footer.
there's one or no, this is not the one.
I mean, how do you modify the footer?
Try to go to the home page settings, maybe.
On page settings.
Nope.
No. So basically footer, I usually do it in the themes. Like depends on like what I'm changing, but the links that you see down there, which I can show, like these ones are basically through a widget. So the widget.
Okay, can you show us the widget?
Yeah, sure. So the widget.
But why wouldn't the
Oh.
widget deal with all three? I mean, you've got three columns, right? Or three content areas.
Yeah, the person who did this is like, she did like 2 menus here. So you see the footer menu 1. So the footer menu 1 has like that shop gift cards thing. And I don't know, like she kind of divided the footer in 3 parts. Like one part was for the logo, download app store and stuff. And the second menu, like she put the column in this menu, the footer menu 2. And the footer menu, sorry, footer menu 1, and this is the footer menu 2. So
Yeah, can
that's
you
how
go to
she did.
widgets?
Oh, widgets.
Then,
Oh, widgets.
yeah, and then we'll see the footer widget.
Footer. This one?
So, so footer 1 is the middle column that starts off with gift cards. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then footer 2 is the one to the right of that, which has the word blog in it.
Yes.
Is that footer 2
Yes.
or what? Or
It's
1?
footer 2. So the footer 2 is the other one, the beside the shop, this one, awards and blog.
Right. And so footer 3 then is the one in question?
No idea. It's empty. I have no
Empty.
clue what the footer 3 is.
Okay, let's look at custom widget area number 1, just below that. What does that do?
It's a smart slider area. That's what it says. But
Okay.
yeah, this one is, I don't know about this one, to be honest.
Now, how do you control where the widgets go? Like, how do you tell the theme, put footer 1 here, footer 2 there?
I think it's
You
in
do it
the
in the code,
PHP
you edit the
file.
theme directly?
So basically, I usually do it on local. Like I have not installed it installed in this one. So first we try it on local, and once it shows the data correctly, then I push it to the GitHub, and then it just comes up here.
Too bad we don't have in that appearance list a link for the footer rather than just the header.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the fact that the App Store and Google Play Store logos sometimes appear in the header and sometimes appear in the footer.
So basically, why it's that? Because so you see here, whenever like you decreases the size, like right at desktop mode is in the header, right? Like it's in the announcement bar. But once you decrease the size to like a tablet or mobile, then it goes to the navigation bar. These buttons will move to the navigation bar.
Yeah.
So these
Now,
are like, we have it as separately, but for some reason it stopped showing up here for the desktop mode. And tablet mode, you saw like it was not showing correctly.
Now, where is that controlled? Where is that top bar controlled?
This one?
Yeah.
It's in here. It's called Simple Banner that we use.
Okay, let's have a look at that.
Yes, here. So it's kind of like this text, dev class text. So where is it? Here, app badges and
Okay. All right, so yeah, it's showing your banner there. So
Mhm.
there is some, there's an option for simple banner custom CSS. And to move things around on my screen to see that.
I'm having trouble finding this column in the footer using inspector in the browser.
Yeah.
Wonder why that would be. It's unusual.
Just thinking out loud, like, could it be the caching issue? Like, this WordPress usually have caching issues or stuff like that?
My best guess is it's some sort of conflict between the simple banner plugin and the theme. But let's have a
Oh.
look at some more of the options. If we scroll down, let's have a look at some more of the options. Yeah, here, if you can leave the scroll off a bit.
Oh, sorry.
I'll have a look at those options there, the simple banner position options. So it's in a fixed position. The element is positioned relative to the browser window.
Drew, in the middle there, where they have the list of buttons, where it says simple banner position, there is a footer selection available.
Simple banner.
Then move the
Yeah,
banner to the
that's it.
footer.
Well, if you would always want it in the footer, yeah.
But then, like, it was supposed to be in the header.
Oh, that
right?
that would be that would put it right at the bottom of the site all the time.
Yeah.
But you want it fixed at the top, but it is but for some reason the items are moving to the footer on the mobile sizes. And I don't see how simple banner handles different screen sizes, unless that's further down the list of options. Could we have another look at that list of options that we were just seeing? Yeah. All right, let's
Just by the by, Drew,
yeah.
in Inspector, in the console, there's a ton of error messages about failing to load resources.
Oh, really? Okay.
Error blocked by client, about 15 times.
That could be important. Yeah.
Single file is hooking the intersection observer API to detect and load deferred images. And there's a warning on that.
Okay, let's slowly scroll down this screen and have a look at some more of these options. Okay, a little more. Okay, so there's a pro version of this plugin that does more things.
No, I don't think we have that one.
Yeah.
One of the advantages of these themes like Thrive is that they often provide, as Drew has mentioned earlier, many things which you'd otherwise have to go to plugins for. And so it may well be that you're not going to need this simple banner if you make the switch. In
Okay.
other words, they'll give you something that will do something equivalent. I know Cadence, for example, offers the capability to do this kind of thing without any plugin, or at least built into their plugin, which has a tremendous advantage that you don't have to worry about conflicts, right? Because that's what the developer's handling.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot really figure out that issue because it's super weird. It disappears for some people, for some it doesn't even show up.
Yeah. I don't think she's using Thrive, that she's using a
No, but I'm saying ending up with,
Yeah.
She's using a custom theme, WordPress
Yeah.
Bootstrap setup theme.
I'm sorry?
yeah, it's a underscores and bootstrap custom theme.
oh, okay, so it's built from scratch,
Yep.
Yeah.
which means you inherit all of the complexities that the developer has provided.
It also means
Yeah.
that you probably don't get updates to deal with new PHP versions and things like that, and new
I
WordPress
think
versions.
the WordPress version is updated. It's only those few plugins. Like
Well,
I did it last month and they just came up again. So
yeah,
yeah, and I still have to do that.
but there's no guarantee that this theme will be compatible with future WordPress versions.
Got it. Yeah.
That's
Well, in
a
a certain sense, I
danger
mean,
of
it would be
custom
unreasonable
themes.
to expect it to be able to anticipate changes in the core of
Mhm.
WordPress a year or two or three after the theme has been finished.
Got it. And do you really think it's like kind of slowing down the website too? Like sometimes like, it takes forever to load the website. So it could be the same reason, like these theme files are
Are
so
you
much.
familiar with this inspector tool that browsers like Chrome and Firefox and so on make available?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
as I mentioned to Drew a few minutes ago, if you look at the page in question and then the console portion, which is in my case at the bottom, and at
Mhm.
least it's the lower part of the inspect screen,
Mhm.
it's filled with error messages.
Mm.
I mean, there must be 20 or 5 or 30 of them,
Oh yeah. I
any
just
one
saw
of
that.
which could be the problem.
Okay.
Now you can filter these, right,
Mhm.
to sort of zero in. But if something's behaving erratically, then I think what you might have is this unfortunate situation in which different errors are interacting. Wow, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult to figure out which is the miscreant that you have to address to get things to work normally. But
Mhm.
I don't see alternative to going through these error messages and sort of resolving each one, because they are, if nothing else, going to have a performance impact.
Yeah, there's so many
I
actually. I
think
just saw.
the theme is hardcore coded, and that's why you're having all this stuff.
Yeah, the person who did it, like she kind of hard coded, but yeah, that's
Well, that's a
issue.
sort of a personal self-employment exercise, right? Is the developer sort of saying, nobody else is going to maintain this but me, or you're going to throw your money away when I leave.
True.
Because that's in effect what's happened, right?
Yeah.
The amount of work involved in debugging this many error messages will be fierce.
Oh yeah, true. I don't want to think about this even actually right now. This is like, yeah, but so you guys suggest like we should switch to the other themes, right? Like Thrive.
Well, actually, come to think of it, if you're in the unusual situation where you really just want to get out of one theme and get into one that's more future oriented and more maintainable,
Yeah, true.
we're seeing endless YouTube videos of guys sitting down, taking a theme, or at least a site that they think is an interesting one for one reason or another, and then in a half an hour showing you how quickly they can replicate it using Gutenberg. Just build it right in front of you. Okay, well, here's the homepage. It's got 6 different things involved. Let's start off with the header. Now we'll do the footer. Now we'll do this and that and the next thing. And you can judge for yourself whether that seems like a doable and valuable sort of exercise.
Mhm.
But by the same token, you know, Cadence, for example, or Thrive, or Astra offer sort of a way to get the benefits of the Gutenberg and block theme capabilities with most of the theme headaches that are still being sort of worked out, taken care of for you by the developer, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
using one of these starter themes, or just an empty theme, as these YouTube guys are doing. A fellow named Jamie Marsland, Marsland, has done maybe 6 or 8 videos showing
Wow.
his skill replicating a design just out of core WordPress components that are, you know, come with the site. Because the new block theme and plug and blocks have the page builder capability, at least page builder looking capabilities that make this a fairly easy exercise of dragging and dropping things into place and then just modifying them to suit the colors and fonts and texts that you want.
Yeah, true. I mean, that
The
was
fact that you've
really
got a
helpful.
theme that you're, you know, content to replicate is an advantage we're taking into account. And then anything you change, you're going to change knowing how to do it yourself. And the problem that we've got right here, like that one particular, I mean, I think in block terms. So I'm thinking, well, it's a layout issue. There's a row which contains, you know, 4 columns, 3 the same size and 1 being half of it overall. And it's the first column in that pattern, or, you know, group block that's the problem. So rebuild it from scratch and then see if that works better, kind of thing. And that's what you can do. Here you can't do that because it's hard coded.
Yes.
And so you stop and think, okay, if I have to learn how to do this working with a hard coded theme, that's going to be probably just as much work as replicating the theme in a better framework, and then learning the better framework, because that's where the future lies. So why learn the skills that are basically obsolete already?
I mean, kind of agree.
I mean, the Gutenberg, the block themes do not involve coding of any kind in most cases. And that's one of the big breakthroughs. You can literally take a theme that somebody's built for you, make some changes to it, export the result, take the export archive and go and install that theme and get exactly the same result in an empty site, a blank site. In other words, you can, in a manner of speaking, design your own theme by customizing an existing one and then turning that into your theme with your name and the ability to export it, you know, clone it, do whatever you like with it, which is just not something that's practical in the classic theme world.
Robin, this might become a recurring theme for this meetup. I recall last month we had somebody who wasn't able to display videos using his page builder, and we got him set up doing it in with a Gutenberg block, and it worked just fine. So often a lot of this custom technology can be replaced with WordPress blocks pretty quickly.
For sure, for sure. And in fact, until you see it, you know, being done right in front of your eyes, it's pretty hard to believe, because it's such a different sort of paradigm than the one from the classic world. And I think that that's, you know, one of the most important aspects of it is that you think differently about things and how you go about them. And now the limitations that I mentioned to you before are interesting in that in the Gutenberg theme world, they've provided us with the capabilities to create our own templates, like page and post templates, in the simplest imaginable procedure. Just click, 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 and then give it a name and then go ahead and modify it. In my Cadence sort of agency package, which is in many ways quite brilliantly done, it just doesn't have quite that capability. it has many other capabilities, but and the reason for that, they say, is that they didn't think that the core implementation worked as well as the one they wanted to build. And so, they decided to take it, a slightly different direction in that one particular instance. But the point here is that the guys who are supporting themes, which are not pure block themes, but are awfully like block themes, I think will end up in a year or 2 or 3 being block themes through a gentle transition process that's, I think, quite attractive. Making sort of the cold jump from classic to Gutenberg themes. Right now, it's just a teeny bit on the scary side, I think. But I think your core issue is this question of what skills do you want to develop? If you want to develop the skills to support a custom hard-coded theme, full speed ahead. You'll be able to look backwards and see all kinds of potential work, but it won't be moving forward.
No, agreed.
As opposed to the block world, which I've now been, as I mentioned to someone earlier, Bruce, I think it was, I've probably taken 50 of those learning WordPress courses on Gutenberg, aspects of Gutenberg. And there's absolutely no doubt that that's where everything is going. And not only because of what WordPress is doing, but because it's a phenomenon that's happening to all the content management systems out there, is they're adopting an approach, whatever they call it, that is patterned, or at least that is the same pattern that Gutenberg is using. Gutenberg didn't invent it, but it's a quite, almost systematic sort of changeover. That even a place like SharePoint, which lives on another planet, will have these capabilities. 2 or 3 years ago, had some of these block-oriented capabilities, because from a practical point of view, they seem to be quite capable of addressing problems that exist. Right now, one of the things that's most difficult about WordPress for people learning it is that every plugin and every theme, the developer of every plugin and every theme has a chance to build his own custom UI for that particular thing, right? The theme or the plugin. So if you've got 20 plugins and 3 themes, you only have to learn that many UIs. Gutenberg, on the other hand, can have 50 different themes, but they'll all have the same user interface. You can have 500 blocks from anybody under the sun, and they'll all have the same interface. Because that's what WordPress decided was really important, was uniformity and consistency in the user experience by providing the capabilities to developers to avoid doing this work themselves, which everyone loves, and produce a better result in the end. So that's, to me, very powerful, is the basic notion that, if somebody says to me, I've got a site with an Astra theme, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that means I only have to learn 200 settings in order to find my way around that theme, classic theme. Well, the new Astra doesn't have 200 settings. It's trying to adopt as much of the sort of block-oriented approach as it can without giving up its core capabilities from a theme design point of view. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell Gutenberg, but simply just that's my experience. And I've come from an enterprise content management system background where users never touched anything. They wouldn't even tell us, they wouldn't tell the average user sort of real names for things. They would make up names, marketing names. So like black could be white, up could be down. It just depends on what the UI guy felt like at that particular day. Well, that philosophy for dealing with the user experience, to me, is just fatally flawed. And so,
Robin, what enterprise content management systems did you work with?
Well, SharePoint in particular. The Adobe Experience platform I've been through. Well, Drupal's an enterprise class platform as well, although it's not primarily used for that. So that sort of stuff. But SharePoint more than anything else. Back to 2006 or 2007 days. when persuading Microsoft's own employees to use SharePoint's product was one of my original projects.
How'd that go?
Well, like you'd expect, right? Resistance everywhere. And the product manager, in fact, for the partner division that dealt, I forget exactly what she dealt with, but she was in a lot of meetings as a product manager. And getting her to use SharePoint was just like pulling teeth. And yet that was her job, was to promote SharePoint. Now, things are a lot better. The arrival of the graph technology, which enables in the background SharePoint to relate anything and everything that it supports, like the 20 different sort of app-like components of SharePoint, so that when you open up your dashboard and you're looking at a piece of work, everything related to that piece of work has been spun up for you and arranged. If there's email, if there are calendar items, if there are task lists, if there are, you know, HTML documents, PDF documents, whatever you touched and worked with that's connected to the workflow of a particular project is all then controlled in the background. That's quite phenomenal. A GraphQL sort of capability that everybody else should copy, but the problem is mainly that most people just don't have a concept of work that enables them to take advantage of that, you know, those resources. They just don't organize their work at all, and so they'd rather go to a list of documents that involves the last 5 projects or the current 5 projects all just mixed together, and they'll be progressing things if they can sort them alphabetically.
Well, maybe we can go to somebody else who has a question.
How about Charles? Is Charles there? No, Charles is hiding.
Yeah, I'm there. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Charles, can you show your face?
Yeah.
We just like to see who we're talking with. Would you have something that we can help you with?
Yeah, not presently. I just am attending to learn from any the experience of others.
Have you found this beneficial?
I'm building my site right now. So
and have you found this session so far today
be
to be helpful?
Sorry, I'm building my site right now. So in a month's time or so, I should be ready. Maybe at that time.
Sure, come back and let us. So what are you using for a theme?
I'm using civil engineering theme.
Civil engineering theme.
Yeah.
And is that the name of the theme or the sort of target purpose or group that uses it?
No, it's basically I'm building some automation engineering website. So the name of the theme itself is civil engineering theme.
Interesting. I was just looking at something called, what was it? I think Sure Trigger, which is an automation platform that, where is it? Oh, I probably won't have it here. Anyway, the capabilities of integrating things, bringing things into a site or taking things from the site and using them elsewhere, whether it's headless or otherwise, are really impressive capabilities. And you're getting into serious integration or automation stuff, then that's very valuable, right? It takes the sort of steps. Somebody changes a card, somebody makes a purchase in Shopify, and that generates a card in Trello, which sends a message to a person to put something on their task list, and then notifies by email the supervisor, sort of sequence of steps. Which used to be able to, if you wanted to do that with SharePoint, you'd use Visio, which is designed specifically to sort of model workflows. But then you have to fork over, $25,000 or $30,000 for your server setup for SharePoint. So this is a completely different animal and far more practical in the result. Okay, well, that's great. I mean, come back whenever you feel we can provide some assistance to. Let's see who else is there. Did we ask Frankie if he had a question? Frankie, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Is there anything that we can help you with today?
Not really. Today is really my first day.
Well,
So
welcome.
I'd
And
say, yeah, thank you.
have you found this to be useful?
Very useful, very, very interesting. I will come back again. Hopefully I will have, because I just started my website, so I didn't get into any issues yet, but definitely
What's your
next
plan
time
in
we
terms of
meet.
a theme? What are you planning to do?
I don't know yet because I
Okay.
just started with WordPress. So.
Okay, no problem. Remember that site, WP Beginner, because that's a really good place for tutorials on how to do things on a step-by-step basis. And then if you want sort of a place to go where they have guides to doing something fairly complicated, but in a tutorial form, step-by-step, here's how you do it. A site called Kinsta, K-I-N-S-T-A.
K-I-N-S-T-A.
KINSTA.com. Their guides are really well written and well thought out. And actually, well, Kinsta is a hosting company. So what they're trying to do is just make their brand, give their brand a positive sort of image by doing these things for the community, so to speak. But a number of the hosting companies do interesting, valuable work that that's high quality because they want to pitch their capabilities to developers as much as they are to users. They have to do quality work to get that recognition. Okay, well, I think, guys, I'm looking at the list, and
Yeah.
Drew, unless you've got a thought, I think we've canvassed everybody. And unless anybody has any last requests, I think we're going to finish up a little early tonight. Which after the day I've had today is sort of appealing.
I've got a question. I know that the last time, are you still able to leave donations, or you no longer do that?
Yes, I think there should be a PayPal link there.
Oh, I didn't see it. I'll look a little closer.
You know
but I
what?
did leave
Let me put my
comment.
email in the chat box, and if you don't see it, just send me a message to that effect, because we do have an account, and what we use it for are things like paying for Zoom. Because the version that lets you record and run for 20 hours at a stretch, you have to pay for it. So that's what we use the donations for. So they're handy. But I put my address in there, and
as well.
I try to get the video out in the next month's event announced the day after, but it'll be Thursday this week. And then you'll get an email that says, from me, that says the YouTube video is, here's the URL. And that YouTube video will have a transcript of the chat session, which today isn't a big deal, not that many links, but sometimes there are 20 or 30 links.
Is that made public? Is it public?
Sorry?
Is the link public?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in fact, I mean, if anybody doesn't want a link to be public that they're responsible for, they can just say so, and no problem removing or deleting or whatever. Sometimes I have to cut the chat down a little bit for the length limit of 5,000 characters on YouTube, but Jacques has just asked the question, WordPress next phase is collaboration. Does that mean Chat GPT API on board? Just wondering. Well, there's a definite interest amongst the core community of developers in generative AI. And there have been several exercises of using Chat GPT in plugins and how to do it. And actually, the application that makes the most sense to me right now, there are beta versions out, open source, in which you can set up Chat GPT 4, which is the latest version.
This is what Mr. Costello was back on yesterday. It's all cool.
Who's that coming?
I think that's Frankie's back noise from.
Okay, yeah. So what this capability is to say to the Chat GPT, robot, only answer questions by looking at the documentation on our own site and the WordPress documentation. Do not look anywhere else for information in response to a question, right? So if you're then asking a WordPress question on a WordPress site, the odds of producing a technical error are greatly reduced if you don't allow it to sort of roam the internet wilds and get taken off on a tangent by some crafty lunatic who then tells us that the world is flat and, Trump is a wonderful guy, and, some of the most amazing nonsense in the world. So chat, or at least generative AI, the larger category, will definitely arrive in WordPress, if only because developers can put anything they like out in the plugin repository or the theme repository, and they can offer any code they like to WordPress and try to persuade them to incorporate it into core. And with thousands of developers playing with AI now, literally thousands of WordPress developers, I can't imagine it not being available within 3 to 6 months. In fact, the New York Times guy, or at least Washington Post guy, who does AI, covers AI, is a journalist, in today's column said, I have access to the new version, which only a few of us have been allowed to have. So if you'd like anything to be tried out, just send me an email and I'll give it a fling, and then I'll report back in my call how it comes out. So that's a very open-ended potential way to learn how things might work with what is a much more powerful capability than the GPT-3 version. Apparently it's twice as fast, removes a number of irritating aspects to it. And probably the most important one right now is, does it remember the previous sessions you've had with it? Or do you have to start from scratch and lose whatever the system has learned about you and how you work, which is the problem with the Google Bard AI program released today or yesterday, is that it doesn't remember anything between sessions, because that just takes up too much server space. And Google, having the world's largest collection of servers, doesn't think it can afford it. Yeah, it's hard to believe that that could be the case. So I would suggest nobody believe that. Okay, anybody with a parting comment or thought, or everyone happy?
No, thank you. It was very helpful.
Margaret, it was nice to have you, and please come back, and if only to say hello and look, guys, how marvelously I'm progressing, or look, guys, I haven't progressed at all. And we'll give you moral support. You too,
Thank you so
Sherine.
much
We'd
for
like to see
hosting.
you again.
Thank you so much for hosting.
And Bruce, where's Bruce?
Yeah.
Bruce has been very quiet.
Right.
And we'd like to get you sort of more involved.
I am simply grateful for the insights into the problem-solving process, and you can expect me to be back. I recognize wisdom when I see it. So
Excellent. Put that in a comment, please. That's just perfect. I recognize wisdom when I see it.
I will do that.
That'd be perfect.
Thanks a lot, Robin.
Okay, guys, we'll wrap up then.
Thank you all.
And we'll see you all hopefully next month.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Hey, guys.